We're in. We're live. We're back. It's the Armoury TV. It was stressful. I got a headache. Man like Candace is in the building. Boy, oh boy. We're getting to the intro. Then we're going to try and dissect that game because, that was up, down, left, right, happy, sad, ecstatic, stressful. We've also got Damos going to be joining us, so I'll bring him in a second. But let's get into the intro. Then let's just get this straight up and popping, Candace. Yes, good afternoon for most, good evening for some, and good morning for others. I hope everyone's well. It's the Armoury TV. We're back. I've got my guys Canas and Damos with us. How you all feeling? You calm down? Heart rate back to normal?
Jeez, 1 minute. Let me just check. A little bit to go still. Wow. Do you know what? The thing is that sorry, I know I'm jumping in, but do you know what? The thing is, I know it's not like a great team we're playing against or whatever, but do you know what? Since with the wobble that we've had, to come away with a win when with the manner of performance and way we kind of kept coming back and stuff. Oh, let's just hope, man, that's a springboard.
Yeah, for real. Damos, how you feeling?
Yeah, I lost for words, man. Same thing. But when it was 3-2, when it was 2-2, I was just thinking about the game, thinking, I didn't see it coming. I saw we had the right energy, but when it did come, do you know what I mean? I'm not complaining, and the ending just helped. But let's not forget, it was a tough game for us. Do you know what I mean?
For real. Let's just get straight in. As I said, we're going to speed through today. We've only got about 25-30 minutes of this.
No, do you know what? Just one thing. I'm looking at the viewer numbers. We're probably about 30 down. Those people after certain goal winning, the Jorginho's goal winning, all those people that were waiting.
There was a lot of Tottenham and a lot of Tottenham United fans are ready for it. I saw a lot of pictures coming in my group chats, little salt and pepper and some popcorn and all of that malarkey.
They've carried on with the weekend now.
Where they at? They at? But let's get into it. So starting 11, two changes from the City game. Ben White came back in for Tomiyasu and Trossard started for Martinelli. Any arguments from you guys? Obviously, Jorginho started again in centre midfield. Damos, any complaints with that?
No. I thought it was fine. I mean, you could have risked Tomiyasu starting again, but that's a bold move. Obviously, Arteta may not have been happy with how the game went the other day. But the lineup was fine, and the whole Trossard thing with Martinelli, it works either way. Did you get Martinelli's fresh legs? If he comes on as a sub. So I don't mind which way they go. But I was happy with the lineup, to be honest.
Yeah. What about yourself, Canas?
Yeah, I think everyone was looking or pushing for Trossard to start, isn't it, really? So I think, and obviously with White coming back, and you can see the chemistry he has with Saka, really. Not mad at it at all.
So going to the game, started off pretty even, both teams feeling each other out, and then Jordan very well from the street. So for weeks he's been saying to me, Shinchenko's winding me up. He's taking too long on the ball sometimes. Blah blah. He's been calling it for weeks, and I'm like, but he's the man. He does this, he does that, and then he gets caught.
Boom.
One ball over the top, but not even say over the top. There's a good ball into Watkins, and good finish on Watkins. A lot of the commentators and other Arsenal fans are kind of singling out Saliba for that. Do you think he could have done more? For me personally, I feel he's done the right thing. He's put Watkins on his weaker foot. He's kind of shown him away from his goal as much as he can. It's one of them. It's hard to stop it. You have to try and do the right thing. And Watkins has taken it really well. To be fair to him. So do you think Saliba could have done more, or do you just think it's just people trying to find a reason where really, honestly, it was just a good goal from Watkins?
Me personally, I'm putting that down to Ramsdale. Right,
really?
The same goal. Yeah, the same goal he conceded against Grealish is the same goal today. I just think he's got a problem getting down with balls close, right down low. Both those, I think he could have done better.
Yeah.
Me personally, I look at it and I just think, could he have done better?
Fair enough.
Listen, I think in that position, Watkins has done well to get half a yard to get a shot off.
And for me, Saliba sent him the right way. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to send him on his right foot, so you have to send him down on the left.
That's what you do, and I just think that I personally feel that Ramsdale may have been, I think for a few weeks has maybe been a little bit shaky. In my opinion.
We'll touch on a bit of Ramsdale later because I think he came up big later on in the game.
Yeah, he did. He did. Listen, shot stopping, straight. Those ones. I don't know. I just think get the Grealish goal. I reckon he should have saved that.
I think there was a deflection. The deflection killed that in his defense. Yeah. Just for that one.
I don't know. I just feel like he's just a little bit. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, Gio Guna's agreeing with you. He's saying he's a bit too slow getting to the ground. And do you know what? I've seen Watkins shoot from that angle a lot. Watkins is he gets you one-on-one. He does get down the left side well. He misses a lot from that area. And again, on his weaker foot, you're thinking he may go high because he's on his weaker foot. But he's hit it clean. I can't really. I think Zinchenko has to take first bit of responsibility.
100.
And after that, I just don't. I can't really blame. I'll watch it again. I think behind the goal, you can probably see a better angle. But is this becoming an issue for you, Damos? We keep getting caught in transition and teams are punishing us. You see Zinchenko went to have a little sneaky pullback on Matty Cash and stopped. Obviously thinking of the yellow card. But in hindsight, when you watch City, they don't care. They take the yellow because they know back when they're exposed like that because you've opened up fully. So do we need to start just that's almost giving away the professional foul, taking the yellow and getting back in?
We were giving professional fouls away a few probably a month or two ago. We were doing that, so I thought we had the kind of players that could do that.
Yeah,
Jack has done it a few times, so I didn't think that was a problem. So I haven't really been assessing it in the last few games like that. But as I was just saying it, I'm thinking about it. There may be an issue, but I'm not too sure to be honest. It's one of them funny ones.
I think it would be too early to take a yellow after 6 minutes.
That's the thing, but you see, he went to do it, and then he kind of took his hand off.
Well, that's a good thing.
With a yellow, I think that's a bit too early to do that. And I think, do you know what? I think his thought process, Zinchenko's thought process. He ain't going to do Saliba. You can do that, but I trust Saliba to get us out of this one.
100%. And so obviously 6 minutes in, 1-0 down, and then all of a sudden the boy shows up. The football we're playing was okay. We will touch on Jorginho because the pass he put through again, he done about 15 of those defense splitting passes along the floor. Obviously, the header from Mings isn't the greatest, but what a finish from Saka. They must think that means he makes him our top scorer this season so far. And I think he's second in assists in the Premier League. I will fact check that. How good is this guy? And what kind of finish?
Nah, he's quality, man. That was a lovely finish. I'm just a bit concerned about his injury. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I noticed, before I forget, Ben White was helping him a lot. There was a lot of times where Saka's like, I can't be running up and down there. So Ben White was doing the hard work and crossing it in at times. So it was good to see, but I was a bit worried. But I like the way that the team helped Saka by not letting him do their mad runs all the time. I don't think he had it in him.
Do you we speak about this a lot, kind of.
Yes.
So I think they was just doing. Oh, sorry, yeah, David forgot. Yeah, so we speak about this a lot. Protect Saka. Again, the left back's chomping down on him. He's put his Achilles in the back of his foot, his mouth. It was 2 before that. He must have been fouled about 7 times, and then about 85th minute, I actually checked my phone to think, has any other yellow cards been given? And there's 2 yellow cards, and that was Douglas Luiz and Saka when they got into the bust up. But how many times was Saka kicked in that game and brought down from behind, and no yellow cards again? It's that there needs to be some protection for him now, because again, there's fouls where you're pulling shirts or shoulder charges, but these are always in the back of his Achilles. Like, it's going to take his toll. And again, you saw, I agree with Damos, he didn't look his flying best at one stage. Like, do you know what I mean? You can see he couldn't really sprint. So yeah, Candace, what do you think needs to be done now with people protecting Saka a little bit, because it's constant now?
I think it's something that needs to happen. It needs to be done because I think what is it going to take? Is it going to take for a broken leg for someone to clamp down? Because if you see the ones that he scraped his Achilles, he didn't even give a foul.
No, his shoe came off and all.
Yeah, he's. I mean, how can your boot come off, all right, and the ref not even give a foul? What is that? Come on. I mean, he's clearly not touchable. The boots come off. It doesn't just come off, but I don't know, man. I think the thing is, and I've said it before, and I said it a few weeks ago, is that he's probably our one true world-class player that we've got on our team, in our first 11 at the minute, and other teams recognize that, so they're gonna double up, rough him up, do whatever he needs to be done to put him off his game. Oh, sorry, I just see that. So, they do that. I think they cut up his sock. They cut their own socks up. Is to do with their calf. Yeah, so they don't cramp up. But yeah, I listen. I think it's something that it should be highlighted. It should be highlighted by Arteta as well in his next press conference about what's it going to take. You know what I mean? Put that little bit of kind of like in the referee's mind, in the sense that, look, okay, let me see what's happening, because
I counted 5 against City. Bernardo Silva fouled him 5 times before yellow was produced.
Yeah, and we were screaming.
And Ake left a few on him as well. So because you saw how City played, sometimes it would be Bernardo with him, sometimes Ake. But Bernardo committed 5 fouls on Saka before a yellow, and Ake I think had 2 on him.
But it's gonna have to take something ridiculous for them to actually kind of to pull that player up. And I really do think it would be cute or something, for Arteta to say something in a press conference about, what is it going to take? Because at the end of the day, as well, the FA and the England team, he plays for them, isn't it? Really? So they want to fit Saka.
Yeah, I hear you. Right, let's move on. So we got in at 1-1. Oh, we haven't even talked about the finish. What your thoughts on the volley, the technique on it? How clean Emma didn't move? Like, he hit it clean. He hit it real clean. But Canners, what was your room like at that moment?
Okay, do you know? My room was going nuts. Room was going nuts. But you know what the thing is, though, for all you footballers out there, when you've hit a volley that's so clean, you don't feel it on your foot, because you know what? You know that feeling of when you hit a clean volley. You know that feeling, and that was how that was hit. It was so clean.
Perfect.
Oh, mate, it was a thing of beauty. When I wasn't even expecting that. The technique, everything perfect. Listen, as I said, man, for me, he's our one true, and because I don't use that term lightly, world class. For me, everything about him, what he does, guy's ridiculous.
I hear that. So, in true Arsenal fashion, 1-1. I think we're back in the game, and laps. I think it come from, obviously their keepers had the ball. If I looked at it, kind of the camera angle went out, and Odegaard was almost in right back position, covering from Ben White, and then the ball gets played into the centre midfield, and you see Nketiah and Saka look to think someone should be here pressing, and by that time it's too late. Everyone has to drop in, and they just open this up. For me, I think Ben White gets drawn too quick. He thinks the ball's going on the outside, so he takes a step, which creates the gap, which gets fed into. You watch it again, you'll see what I mean. And then nice bit of play by Buendia. Xhaka gets caught out by it. And good finish for Coutinho. Again, are you going to call Ramsdale? He kind of guessed Coutinho was going one side, and he just flipped it the other side, hasn't he? Or is it just an unfortunate goal? That was the one goal we've been opened up. I haven't seen this being opened up. We normally get beat on a transition. This team actually played through us. So are you starting to worry about the defensive side of our game, Damos? Like, we're conceding.
Well, what I've noticed is we're playing a possession game. So technically, if we've got the ball, they can't do anything. That's the philosophy. And you can see we've been doing that for the last couple of games. But the problem is we're not doing what we should be doing in the last third. But my concern, and I get to the point now, is that every time Villa had the ball, they looked more dangerous in terms of the chances they were creating. So we got all the possession, but that's my concern. What happens if we play a top team that has more chances on the ball? Do you know what I mean? That's the opportunity for more goals. So that's my only concern. I'm like, what's going on? Why are they creating better chances than us? And be more effective.
You're right. It's like the City game, isn't it? Because I saw a stat that was the least amount of possession Pep Guardiola has ever had in a game. He's never been dominated possession-wise like that in his whole career as a manager. But they won 3-1 quite comfortable. And that's the difference. Brentford had chances, didn't score them. Everton could have been 3-0 up in the first half, didn't score them. Again, like you're saying, Villa on the break looked like they could open us up at will. And City was the team who were clinical. They had 3 good chances and scored 3 goals. So I echo your concern. It's all good and well when we got possession, but at the moment when we lose it, it seems like it's too easy to get behind us. And I think that does need addressing. It really does.
When they showed the replay of the goal, my thing was that and you saw actually the disappointment in Arteta's face when the goal went in. I know what he was thinking, because there was a huge gap when what's his name? Who's the guy? Defensive midfielder, Villa.
Luis or McGinn?
No,
Luis or McGinn.
The French kid, the French guy, the one who came
Kamara.
from Kamara. That's it. When he got the ball, there was no one on him. No one on him.
No one.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
What is going on here? He had so much time, and then he did what he did, and we was too slow with that bit. And then all of a sudden, they're in our half. Then there's problems. And that's when we started to press. But really and truly, we should have kicked off that press straight away on him to get that ball back. And I think that was one of the only times that we failed to do that.
And I as you've played football at a very high level, and I was talking to someone else in the group chat, and they were saying it's Nketiah and Saka, and I was like, partly, but actually it's communication. So and it's quite funny because there was a clip going around a few weeks ago of Odegaard going absolutely mental at Sambi Lokonga because he said he didn't step up. Again, I think was it the Everton game? There was a game a few weeks ago where Sambi Lokonga didn't step up, and Odegaard's gone absolutely crazy at him. And you watch this again, it's Saka and Nketiah are high up the pitch, but everyone else is really deep. And
it was ridiculously deep.
And I get why Odegaard was deep, because he covered Ben White, so he didn't want to release. But then you've got to talk to the guys in front and say, drop in. Like the rest of us aren't ready to press. So actually,
the shape was terrible. If you look at it,
was so open.
Terrible.
Yeah, and this is communication, isn't it? Because again, you play high up the pitch, kind of. So you would have had midfielders and centre back screaming at you. You can't press. Get back in. Get back in.
Like, you just drop that 10, 15 yards. You know what I mean? And
then when they pass it backwards, now we can squeeze as a team. But it was almost like the first 2 went early and held their shape, and the rest of the team
gap, the gap was huge.
Yeah, it was.
He had no one in about 15 yards of him. If you watch it, there was no one.
He walked forward, like he just walked. I think he was surprised he turned and had that much space. So I think that was the first problem.
Because
that
then
was definitely the first problem.
At the goal, Arteta was like, as if to say, "What the fuck just happened?"
So who was at fault? Who was at fault there? Then are you saying the two shouldn't have been up there, or the rest of the team should have been in their positions?
For me, if the team's that deep, the 2 strikers have to then get into a deeper shape, because almost you might let them make the first 3 passes, and now we trigger, now we go, then you force them back, and you see teams do it. City do it really well. I think they've been caught in their positions and then haven't realised Odegaard's had to go cover someone else, and Jorginho and Xhaka then had to drop with Odegaard. And it's just crazy.
And now you're in trouble.
Communication. It's really communication. But after that, I do think there's opportunities to still do better. Again, for me, Ben White has to know where the danger is, and the danger is in between him and Saliba, and he steps out a bit too early. Thinks he's going to read the pass on the outside. Steps out, and then that allows the spacing behind him.
I think at that point we was pretty much working on panic mode, really, because I think they all realised, shit, we've got a problem here.
Yeah, again, for me, it's assessing the danger, isn't it? If he's on the outside, then I can still always get to him. Do you know what I mean? Unless he puts a worldie of a cross in, but you take your chances on that. But what I never want to do as a right back is allow that guy in behind me into the space. And he gave it up too easy. You watch it again, and you'll see what I mean. He gave it up.
It is an easy goal.
You see him take the step, and as soon as he takes it, the midfielder just cuts it open, and it's a problem from there. But let's move on, because again, I know time is of the essence. We want to get into the juicy stuff. So 2-1 down at half time. The group chats are going mad. We need to make this change. I think everyone had a different scenario, but we came out with the same 11. But we stepped up the performance, and the pressure told. Zinchenko, they said it's his first Premier League goal, not only his first goal for Arsenal, it's his first Premier League goal. And what a time to score it. We looked quite dangerous on them short set pieces all game, didn't we? And this is the patience Arteta talks about, not just panicking and putting it in the box, because Villa are quite a big team. Working and Zinchenko with a sweet finish. Deimos, like, when it's gone in. What was your room like when that went in?
My missus, little one, we were all watching it, innit? I say little one, my daughter's 15, but we were all watching it, jumping up and down. But what I noticed there, they even showed it on the replay. Villa defense, they were sleeping, they were looking around, getting ready, and by the time they finished looking around, Zinchenko had the ball, like in ready to hit it. But it was a lovely finish, man. It was tight as well. So, but that guy's a leader, man. If you just see his energy and the way he is, you can see he's ready. He's all about winning. That's where he comes from. Do you know what I mean? He ain't settling for less. So I like that energy he has about him.
So yeah, 2-2. I'm thinking only an Arsenal win. It looked like the goal weren't coming, and Nketiah had a good chance. The first touch killed him. Go across. Let's get to Nketiah's first, because I can see what he tried to do.
I forgot about them.
Because if he touches me, it's a penalty. But and again, kind of as you play up front, you take your touch across the centre back, don't you, to almost kill him. Like if he touches me, it's a penalty. He has to get out of the way and stop. So he's taken the right idea, but he's touched it a bit too straight and just dinked it over the bar. At that point, I was just thinking, please, someone bail him out. And then he actually wins a ball back. Spots Odegaard, gives him a pass, which is perfect. You're thinking that's gonna Russell, and he puts it right. Deimos, you at that moment thinking, like this is it. It's 1 point.
That's what I'm saying, man. It wasn't fun anymore, man. I was like, this ain't fun. But yeah.
And then we move forward a little bit again, and again, Ramsdale coming to a bit of questions from Cannons just now. Leon Bailey gets 1-on-1, great first touch from a long ball. And that kind of kills Zinchenko, because I think Zinchenko thinks that's going out. And once he touches it, Zinchenko is now done. Shit. Gabriel comes across. He gets half yard and a great strike. And this is why he doesn't go down across his front, because this one's gone up in his top front post. He's got a good hand on it, hits the bar. And in my head, I'm saying it's the saying, if you can't win, just don't get beat. And I'm thinking Ramsdale's saved us a point here. How big of a save is that in terms of this season for us, do you reckon, Deimos?
That was amazing. Who was that? That was running back. Was that Ben White? That was
no,
running back.
It was
Gabriel. He did well, because if you noticed, he had two men and he did well. Was it? It was Vieira, wasn't it?
No, that's
talking about the save.
I'm talking about one where he tipped onto the bar.
Yeah, that's the one. When they made the break.
Sorry. Yeah, no. I was thinking about the other one.
No, you're thinking of the other one. There was one before.
Ignore me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Ramsdale's tipped it onto the
bar. They hit the ball twice. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
It was Gabriel.
Yeah. So the defender when they were breaking, he had a choice to make, and then he did well holding his position. And then when our cover came, Ramsdale said go towards him, but by then he took the shot and Ramsdale stayed it. So what I meant is that defender did well.
It was Fabio Vieira, that one, yeah.
Whoever it was did well. Yeah, and then the save, that was a serious save. You had to put it's a save, isn't it? You have to put the strength on it. I mean, obviously, you didn't intend for it to hit the bar. You try and do what you can, but it was a great save.
You know what? In terms of the season, that is absolutely huge, because at that point, you imagine going 3-2 down and how the team would have felt.
I think that season over. If that goes in, that is season done. Like,
it's all about millimeters, isn't it? And that
is
millimeters. I mean, it's the fingertips or the fingernails of Aaron Ramsdale has kept our season now alive, literally.
Yeah. And we talk about millimeters. We then got at the other end. I don't even know how the ball even popped up with Jorginho, but he's hit one so clean. It's hit the bar.
Wow.
It's come back and hit Martinez and gone in. So
that was a great diving header.
Like, I don't know about you. I'm screaming. I'm jumping. I'm lost all composure in this room. Like,
yeah.
I'm getting all chance now. Just thinking when it left. Wow. I was like, oh my God, that's coming in.
And then to hit the bar, and then again VAR started checking for offside, and in hindsight, it's like 9 times out of 10 that ball bounces out. Eddie and Nketiah taps that in, and actually he's offside. Thank the Lord he's come off Martinez and gone in, because I think Odegaard and Nketiah were both offside. So maybe the gods were shining down on us, and sometimes you need a bit of luck, isn't it, to get over the line, and that probably was our bit of luck. Like,
can I just give a special mention, right, to the squad after that goal, right? You can just see how much it meant to them when that one went in.
Definitely.
Do you know what? It was such a moment. When you watch it back and you watch it, that just obviously when they're all kind of like celebrating the entirety, if you watch it back, you'll get goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about
it.
It's
togetherness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like Martinelli kind of like going absolutely nuts. It's in all of them just going absolutely nuts, and the passionate these guys. Listen, they're aware that they've kind of underperformed the last few games, but I tell you what, man, it's an amazing thing, once you start getting that momentum back and stuff, and when a goal like that goes in, because it was such a huge goal in the grand scheme of things of this whole season. I know when 2021 games in and stuff, but the thing is, though, man, is like it's all about building that momentum and that togetherness and stuff. You could see in certain kind of like fits and starts of the game, we're not as fluent as we were. We're kind of like we're thinking about things now, thinking about that pass. And you know what? Sometimes that split second makes such a difference in the way that we actually play. Whereas before, if you think back to games like when we was playing Brentford away, everything was just off the cuff. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody knew exactly where they were. Yeah. And those kind of performances provides momentum. And we got in a bit of a rut, and hopefully now a goal like this can just kind of help us and aid us to come out of that rut and start playing our free-flowing football again.
That's it. We needed to break that non-winning run we was on, wasn't it?
It's just the outpour of emotion. And I'm so glad for them.
Let's touch on Jorginho for a minute each before we move on. Again, there was a lot of people not happy about Arsenal signing him. I'm not saying he's going to go on to do amazing things and whatever else, but I think today you really saw his quality from that deep line position. He brings something different to the other midfielders. I can't count the amount of times he split open a defence with a pass for a third man running behind. And these are going to bring extra qualities. Yes, he lacks the physical of Partey, but again, there's now scope for him and Partey to play some games. You know what I mean? If teams, it's hard to unlock. He's got the passing range. Like, how would you rate his performance? For me, he was man of match today. How would you rate his performance today, Canners?
I actually made him our man of the match against City.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, today he was brilliant. You know what else is underrated for him is his ability to intercept, pass, get his his positional awareness is brilliant. Listen, he was tidy today. Yeah, there was a couple of mistakes he made, but he was I just thought he was so tidy today, and the goal pretty much, for me, has now catapulted him now into hopefully now his Arsenal career takes off, because I just think that his last two performances have been brilliant, really. I think he adds. See, the problem with when he was playing Sambi is that instead of Partey is that the players didn't trust him on the ball with a player up behind him. But they trust him because they know his ball retention and his ability to do something that a little bit different to find a player. He can do that.
Again, if I'm Saka, I can keep making him runs because he's finding me.
He'll find you. He'll find you.
And as a midfield player or attacking player, if that guy's got the eye and the quality to find me, I can keep making that run.
Here's a question though: if he carries on performing the way he's performing, look, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, does Partey have a problem getting back in the team?" However, is there a question maybe actually to shoehorn a position for him, maybe in place of a Xhaka or something like that? Because I actually thought the last couple of games, Xhaka's been a little bit tired for me. Today he was quite wasteful with his passes. I'd like to see his passing percentages for Xhaka, because today I actually thought he gave the ball quite a lot.
The answer to your question, I feel this gives you scope, because when we thought we brought Partey in, we thought he's a box-to-box kind of player. No one really saw him as being a DM. So we haven't actually seen him play a box-to-box role with a DM next to him who can orchestrate. He's always had to be the one to come and get the ball. So actually this gives you scope maybe to change up a little bit if you need a bit more power and drive in there. Maybe you can now release him a little bit, and it just changes the dynamic. Yeah, you never know. Do you know what I mean? And this is what you can keep teams guessing because depending which one of the two of the three.
Really and truly, it'd be hard to drop Jorginho if say like Partey was fit for the next game. It'd be hard to drop him.
Yeah, and again, this is what you want: is competition, isn't it? Now, it's again with Sambi, even if he hit 3 or 4 good games, you'd always in the back head thinking he's got to come out at some
Bring Partey back in.
Partey's got to come back in. Whereas someone like Jorginho, he's been there, he's done it, he's experienced, and this is why we brought the experience. If you look who not bailed us out, but Odegaard had a good chance and Ketia had a good chance. But actually, we relied on Zinchenko, who's got the experience, and Jorginho, who's got the experience. Them two are the two that dragged us up. Again, it's a whole team. Ramsdale helped us. But it's like that moment where it took the two kind of experience heads we brought in the summer and in January who have produced the goods. And that is why we needed to bring some experience into this team. Do you know what I mean? So
there was one thing actually as well, because when Leon Bailey come on, Gabriel's tackle on him.
Oh, yes, the 1-on-1. Yeah.
That's important as well, because I tell you what, had he got past Gabriel,
it's a goal.
Right.
Yeah, it's a goal. And yes, this game was all over the place. It was a roller coaster one. And do you know, fair play to Villa because they didn't play for a draw either. And I think that's ended up
fair play to them.
2-2. If they actually just sort of sat in and said we take the 2-2, they probably don't. You never know. But they actually came out and come at us, which then created more space for us to kind of try and hit them. And that's how it ended. The game ended with another goal. Corner. I'm screaming for Rob Holding and Tierney. They've come on. We tried to shore it up. Corner ball. Emi Martinez comes forward, and then Saliba wins the first header.
I was screaming at Vieira. No!
Yeah.
But that's why he's a pro.
Yeah,
he did the right thing. He picked the
right pass. And again, it's at that moment we could be looking for corner flags, but he's done it's not a difficult pass for him, but it's a pass which some people may not have done at that time.
That pass was played to perfection, because you know what? If Martinelli had stepped in their half and then Vieira played it, he would have been offside because he's in front of the keeper.
Yeah.
That's a weird. Yeah, that foolishness. Yeah.
Because he played the ball and Martinelli was still in our half,
and there was two.
He can't be offside.
Yeah, there was two players, and even if you look at the way he could have played it, he took another touch, which almost allowed Martinelli to catch, and it was beautiful. Yeah, and again, the scenes at the end of that goal, like how important was that, and it didn't. We was winning 3-2, but again, just that relief of relaxation for the last 2 minutes. You saw Gabriel pumping his chest and grabbing the badge and celebrating with Arteta, like. The roof. I had tickets for that game, and I could. I was meant to have tickets for that game, and because of all what's going on with the ticket in at the moment, I'm not sure if you lot know all the issues they're having with away games at the moment, and you're not allowed to resell on, and there's a lot of issues going on with it. So in the end, the guy had to refund me the money and said like, I don't know what's going on, but he couldn't release them. I was sitting there. At first, I was like, I'm glad I didn't make the journey. And then I'm sitting there thinking, what a game to go to. Could you imagine the scenes when that ball went in?
That goal, that fourth goal, though, the heavens, I think they realised the suffering that we had all game. They said, you know what? Arsenal fans need a little bit of joy. But you know what I mean? And I thought it was really good. My missus, my kids were just laughing, cracking up. They've never seen that before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it all come out, all the emotion. It's all thinking of all the banter I'm gonna get. The title race is done. Can we even hold on to the top 4? Like it was all running through my head. I'm gonna have United fans in my ears again. I can't watch Match of the Day. Bant Sports News. I can't watch that.
Can I say something? You know what? That's the type of game that Man City will win.
Yeah.
We saw that kind of fashion.
Do you know what I mean?
Where you just think, oh, fuck's sake, they're always. Do you know what I mean? It's like how'd they win that? But and there's sometimes something in the air. You can kind of smell something in the air in the sense that, do you know what? It's those kind of victories that kind of like are the victories of like champions. And look, I'm not gonna say we're gonna win it and stuff.
We got to stake out wins now and then.
it's those kind of victories where you kind of say to yourself, you know what, you really shouldn't have won that game.
There's a few.
On reflection of chances, we should have won, but at the same time, when you get into the 90th minute, it's difficult, isn't it? But James is saying, did we see Saliba's reaction? I haven't seen it yet, James. I will watch it afterwards.
Yeah, when you watch, I don't know if you get to watch like extended highlights and stuff, but when you see the celebration to that third goal and stuff, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, you can see how much it meant to them, and hopefully this can now kickstart a little bit of a run. Mr. Guna Maestro is saying Martinelli might be better coming off the bench until Jesus is back, and this is why you need a squad. If it's not going for him, then you need to be able to bring someone in, not drop the
I didn't think Trossard had his best game, did he?
Yeah, for me, he wasn't his best at all either. But again, this is what the depth is there for, isn't it? You see, right, let's get into some player ratings because, I understand we've got 5 more minutes before we got to bounce real quick. We just take a player each. We'll start with Ramsdale. We'll go to you first, then give him Ramsdale.
Who, me?
I'll give him.
Oh, sorry.
Who?
No, you go.
Yeah, down. We're going down first.
All right, cool. I'll give him a 7. Reason why is he let in a couple of goals, but he kept us in it with that save. So I'll give him a 7.
100%. Ben White Canners.
I'll give him a 7. I think his performance and link up with Saka is quite crucial, actually. And I think he's you could say for their second goal, there's a little bit of but I think overall he had a good game, solid game.
Cool. Saliba, I'll give a 7 to as well. I don't think he's done much wrong, but again, there's going to be question marks for that first goal if he could have got a bit tighter. So I'll give a 7. Deimos, you got Gabriel.
I'll probably say 7 as well because it's a bit generous. They were okay. They did their thing, but there was those 2 goals could have been prevented in certain places, I think. But overall, I'll say 7. And again, I'm being slightly generous, but we got the win, so I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. I think Gabriel out of the 4 was probably the one least at fault for anything. Personally,
I thought he was. I thought he was okay. To be fair,
I think he was the strongest of the 4 today. Again, you got Zinchenko, then Canners.
He's got to get an 8 for the goal, isn't he?
Yeah, so I think performance-wise, I think this was his worst game for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Not even just the goal. I think in general, I think this was probably his worst game, especially in that first half. But he came up big when it was needed.
I think he came through in the second half in a sense. So and also the goal was crucial as well. He couldn't not have hit it perfectly.
He actually went through. I think his Watkins' leg went straight through his legs as well. If you watch it back, through his legs and then into the bottom corner, brilliant.
Yeah.
So you said 8. 8 for Zinchenko. Moving to midfield, Jorginho, I'll give him a 9. I think he controlled the game, and again, then passes from deep, I think they're going to be crucial when we start playing these low block teams, of him opening up space. And he started to orchestrate as well. At 2-1, you see him pointing and telling Odegaard
minding the ball.
He really started to kind of say, all right, you lot, I'll let you lot have your moment, but actually it's not working out. I'm taking charge of this. And
that's what you need. Leaders.
This is going to be massive, I think, for us going through. Someone with just that bit of know-how. 9 for me. He was my man of the match. I think you said Kanish had him as man of the match. Deimos, would he be your man of the match as well?
Yeah, he did this. As you said before, Trev, it wasn't like when you have what's his name? Sambi in there and you're worrying. He was doing his job. Do you know what I mean? He's a different player to Party, but he was doing his job and doing it well. So I have no problems with that. Do you know what I mean?
Perfect. All right, we'll move on from him. So he gets a 9. Xhaka next to him. Deimos?
I'd say probably a 7. I mean, again, it wasn't his best game, but he did make a couple passes. But there were, as you said before, there were some wayward passes. But he was part of the movement, everyone trying to move forward to try and attack. So that's why I give him a 7.
Odegaard, Canners?
6.
Do you think second half he stepped up a bit though?
He did, but still he was on a 5.
Wait, wouldn't you say he was better than Xhaka though, or?
I'd say on par, to be fair, because I would have given Xhaka a 6, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm thinking 6 then, because of Odegaard. Yeah, I have to go back to 6 for Xhaka, to be honest.
Yeah, Odegaard. Yeah, first half was terrible. Yeah, he stepped up in the second half, but it's only because he was given more space, basically, because the game kind of opened up for him, and allowed him to kind of be able to. I don't know. He needs to do something in order to kind of, when these games are as tight as they are, to create or open up or make himself space. He needs to do that. He needs to learn to do that. He's young. He's learning. So, yeah, for me, 6.
Cool. Then I get Saka. I'd give him an 8. I think he's a constant threat, isn't he? Goal took brilliantly. He's like you say, Candice. It's like every time he gets the ball, he seems to kind of, even if it doesn't come off, he seems to do something. It's not just we got to go back to the centre back when it's with him. He's just got something about him. He's strong as an ox as well. I think people don't realize how strong that kid is when he gets his body in front and gets spun. So yeah, I love him. He'll get an 8 from me. Martin, no, it was Trossard started, didn't he? So Damos, you got Trossard.
I'd say 6.5/7. But I thought he was okay, and I don't think he played bad. I just think he was trying to find ways through and trying to do it. You know, he didn't get to do much, but he didn't play bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know.
That's how I see it. So,
everything's ticking over okay, but he's not exciting. He's not really creating problems for the opposition, really. I think in that game.
No, he's unpredictable. He's very hard. You don't know which way he's gonna go. So I love it. I love him as a player, but in this game he was unable to do much. But I still like the way he played. So yeah, I'll say 6.5, only because he didn't have the impact. But I still love him as a player.
Okay, Candice, we're gonna get into the controversial one. He's the scapegoat every week. Eddie Nketiah. What are you gonna give him?
Do you know what? I love him to bits, yeah. But I've been saying for a few weeks now, there's certain games that you play where you need someone who's hella prolific. Do you know what I mean? I think the chances that he's had in the last few games, he's got to get one of them, man. And I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing right now he's going through, but I would give him a 5, to be honest. Look,
5 last week? Go on, carry on.
He works his socks off, and I think Arteta. Yes, James agrees with me. Look, he works his socks off, but the thing is, though, it's like there was a point where actually, and there's got to be something in it, in a sense. But Saka's a different player, as I said. But Trossard and Martinelli seem to kind of like dip, and there was a point where Trossard had the ball, and you can see that he was gesturing to Eddie, is like to come over. He didn't have no options. He's looking forward and he's waiting for Eddie to kind of show up, kind of thing. Yeah, and I think that's a key thing in the sense that
this is why I get into arguments with people with Candice, because my thing is it's not Saka it's not Eddie who's linking up with Saka on that side. So if Saka's got options, it's because Odegaard and Ben White are doing what they play a little free triangle. Yeah. On the left side, you're looking at Xhaka and Zinchenko to create the space. It's that same dynamic.
But the thing is, though,
and you saw Xhaka doing a lot of third man runs today.
Yeah,
and he's getting a lot of balls in there. And this is my thing with Xhaka. I'm not taking away from Eddie, but a more natural attacking player in them positions will create more for us. Do you know what I mean? Xhaka, you can see when he gets out there, sometimes he looks like, again, that's like me playing. I could play centre midfield, but I can't play it like Aaron Ramsey used to play it. My centre midfield role is more Jorginho, and I'm more comfortable in that area. You telling me keep breaking up, I'll do it. I'll get in the ball, but when I get there, I'm very limited in my skill set. And I think Eddie comes in for unnecessary criticism.
Yeah, no, it's unnecessary. But the thing is, though, he's had chances.
To score the chances. I agree he needs to score one of them. But I also take it, Harry Kane and Haaland have had the most shots in the league. They haven't scored every shot. There's games where they don't score. Yeah. And I think we're very critical of Eddie because if it's not going right, it's Eddie's fault automatically. If Martinez
no. I'm not saying that. I think that the thing is that there are certain kind of situations where I just think bury that.
Yeah, he has to. That's the one he's made. The headers I can forgive. Because again, he's hit the bar from a very good header. He's got up very high above Konsa and Matty Cash to win the header, and it's very unlucky. The one he has to score is the one where he slipped in on the floor. He has to score that. But equally, if Odegaard takes his chance, he's now got an assist. And I think we are very critical of Eddie. I don't think he's played a 5 today. He has the hardest job receiving the ball. and I was talking to someone else about this.
You twisted my arm, then I give him a 6.
Yeah, I just feel
No. I'll give him a 6 because you know what, he works his socks off, and the thing is, one of the things that I think that we failed to realize is that even when we had Jesus playing, Jesus would very seldom play the whole 90. He would come off after about 80 minutes, and then bring Nketiah on. The fact is that Nketiah is playing 90 minutes for week in, week out, and it's tough doing what you're doing, and what Arteta demands of that person to do at playing up top is actually huge. And the thing is, I guess sometimes what's probably happening then when he does get himself into that situation after working his proverbials off, for how many minutes, he's probably snatching or he's knackered or whatever. But the thing is, what I'm kind of looking at is that Trossard and Martinelli, I reckon they would both thrive, because on the right hand side of Saka, White, and Odegaard is totally different. I think on the left hand side, it'd be Zinchenko, Xhaka, and Jesus. They would link up a lot better than.
Does this create some of the problems we used to have then? So just say Nketiah does start coming out to the left more, linking up really well. We then lack someone in the middle. And this is why Jesus used to fall short sometimes, because he'd do so much elsewhere. Then all of a sudden that ball comes in and it's like he's almost there, but he's just had to do so much. And sometimes I think others have to take responsibility. Like, my job is in the middle. And when I say as well about receiving the ball, he has the hardest job out of all our 11 players. He has to receive it with Tyrone Mings tight up his backside.
Yeah,
whereas everyone else receives it with 2 yards of space before they get closed down. You've played up front. I don't play out there because I don't like that contact. It's a hard role to play, and he wins a lot of fouls. He protects the ball well. Like, very rarely does he get robbed when it comes into him. Like, I do feel people are being very, very critical of him because we're not performing as good as we should be performing at the moment. It's almost like it's his fault.
I don't put the performance, the way we're performing down to him. It's a tough one because I know exactly. I understand what you're saying. And I think
we need to separate performance to the missed chances. I know it's a part of his performance. But it's like, again, we scored Zinchenko high, even though he gave away the first goal. Do you know what I mean? And Eddie I know he's a striker. He has to get graded on scoring at the same time. I just feel, again, I'm looking at James's comments here, and I just feel it's difficult because his job, I find it, I just feel it's hard. I think it's very easy to score Eddie a 5. I think if Jesus has that same performance, we don't score him a 5. I really don't think we score him a 5.
The thing is, though, Jesus will do something a little. The thing is, what Jesus.
I know what you mean, but I think if Jesus played exactly that same game Eddie just played, we don't score Jesus a 5. I know what you mean, because if Jesus is on the pitch, he's got a bit more about him when the ball comes into his feet. He's drifting into areas to get on the ball, and that's why he drifts wide, because he's not getting the ball in the middle. So he drifts. Whereas Eddie says, actually, I'm going to stay between the two posts because if something comes in here, I'll gobble it. And that's what Haaland's been doing all season. I'm not comparing the two, but there's some games Haaland touches the ball 6 times, but he might score 3, and we say he's had a great game, but he actually hasn't. He's just finished a bit of dinner because City have put things on the plate.
But that's the difference then. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that when he does have his chances, he's got to be kind of like. He can't be Andy Cole. You know what I mean? He needs to be Ian Wright. He needs to be kind of like finishing his dinner.
He has to score one, but I don't feel his performance is that bad as a 5.
Okay. I guess I'm being harsh in the sense, yes, because they're the things that you remember.
Yeah, it stands out. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But the assist for Xhaka. I mean, is this for Odegaard? He needs some praise for that. He stole that ball.
No one on the pitch creates that, but Eddie. To be fair, So fair play to him. But yeah, I just.
I just feel to give a 5 is harsh. Because I don't think he's done worse.
You know what? I'm smiling.
There's a lot worse performance out there. I think there's a lot worse performances out there than Nketiah's performance, in honesty, and that's my thoughts on it.
I'm struggling to kind of worse. Who played worse than Eddie today?
So Eddie got the header, hit the post. Fair enough. The one he should have got, where he kicked it over, it's almost like he was in two minds. Do I love the goalie or not? Martinez went down and he just gave a bit too much power. I'm sure you've been there, Trevor. We've all been there at some point. So he was trying. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying he had a great performance, but I'm not saying it was bad either. But anyway, you go with the numbers, man.
I'll give him a 6. Let's go with a 6.
Let's look at the 6.
Yeah.
Right.
We won.
Let's get into who did anyone come on for a substantial amount of time?
Martinelli came
Martinelli. Martinelli got a good bit of time. Again, up to that point of the goal, I don't think he played very well at all again today.
Who?
Personally, Martinelli.
What was he doing? He was trying to do the normal stuff he does, play along the side and cross it. He was trying. He had energy. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with how he was playing, but yeah, as you're saying, there was no impact until all that happened at the end.
Yeah, I think it's harsh to score any of them subs, if I'm honest. I think all of them should just get a 6.
I think they all done their piece.
An assist.
Yeah.
But again, this is what we need with players coming off the bench and being able to say we come on, we got one got an assist, one got a goal. That's good enough. That's what you need, isn't it, to see the game out?
Hey guys, real quick, were you worried when Martinelli was coming on for Trossard? Because I thought Saka was gonna cave in at some point. So I was worried that we subbed that person and then Saka would be injured. But luckily,
benefit to that was we had ESR was on the bench. He's not ready. Vieira's there, so at least and Reece Nelson was there. So if he did break down,
do you know what?
One of them would have come on.
I think that highlights just how important Saka is to how we play.
Even at 70%,
party levels,
50%, he's still they're gonna keep him on the pitch.
Yeah.
Ben White needs praise though for assisting him and helping him seriously, because if he didn't do what he does by doubling up with Saka, by overlapping, Saka would have been in trouble having to run up and down with that mashed up leg. So I give Ben White praise for doing what he had to do.
A funny thing, if you watch sometimes, if you don't watch the ball, if you watch the players, there was a point where Saka was offside and White had the ball, and White was holding on. They had a little kind of argument in the sense like Saka's like, "Why didn't play the ball?" White was like, "Well, you fucking offside." Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like I can't play the ball, and he's kind of like trying to do a run to get back on because the move, it's broken down. I love watching those kind of things like that and stuff, and when where everyone's watching the ball, but you watch what the players do and then how they react and stuff. But listen, oh man, those two got such a good understanding, and I think that it's a shame with Tomiyasu, because I love the guy, but the fact is that those two have got something going, Saka and Ben White, where they understand each other's game perfectly.
I feel Tommy's it's hard for him because he's been crying out for a start for weeks. I don't think Ben White's been great the last few weeks.
Man City's not the game to come in though for a start.
He gets the City game and it's like, what do you expect from him? I know he's made the mistake. I don't think he played bad against City.
No.
So it's so hard to say he hasn't got a connection with Saka because he had to play the City game. Like
you can see it because the thing is
it's a different ball game when you're playing City to when you're playing a Villa and that. Do you know what I mean? White's able to release a lot more. There's a bit more time and do you know what I mean? Whereas, City's a different ball game, isn't it? Like,
Ben White is, in my opinion, so underrated with the ball, in the terms of what he. I can't believe he's a centre back, really.
He's a baller. He's got takers, man.
Listen, he is so comfortable on the ball, and he can take a player on. The thing is, though, and the reason why them two, Saka and White, have such good understanding, you watch when them two are on the right-hand side and what they do with their little 1-2s and stuff and the way kind of overlaps and stuff. Saka knows exactly what he's going to do. And Ben White knows exactly where to play the ball. If you watch, every time Ben White plays the ball, he plays the ball not to the to the touchline. He plays it inside.
Have you seen the video of that? I've got a video to send you, Cameras. You'll love it. Is Arteta talking about how he wants the winger to receive the ball.
Right.
And it makes so much sense now when Ben White plays to Saka, because Saka drives you wide and then he comes in and Ben White gives it to you in. And when I find the video and I send it to you, because it's amazing when Arteta breaks it down. And now you watch it, because what he's saying is he doesn't want because before you watch wingers, they receive the ball on a touchline.
Yep, get touched.
Very limited to what you can do with it. Where he now wants the midfielder the winger to receive the ball while he's moving on the inside, because he's now got a lot more options. Honestly, you watch the breakdown of it and then you watch it happen. You're like, do you know what? This guy is a genius.
Okay.
So I'll send it on to you.
Yeah, because what
maybe
happens,
I'll bring it out next week. If we're on the stream on Wednesday, I'll put it in for the stream and we can break it down.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get on to Arteta's score real quick before we go. Canners, I think you can go first. What are you giving Arteta for this roller coaster of a game?
Arteta. you know what? I'm going to give him a 7. The reason why I give him a 7, right, is because I don't think this was by design, this victory, by any stretch of the imagination.
Fine margin, isn't it? Fine margin. Could have gone either way.
Yeah. This was one from, what, heart in your head, in the sense that it was all about, going that, put fine margins, as you say. It's pretty much it's emotion and the will to, and want to win that what took us over the line today. There wasn't any substitutions or any kind of major kind of tactical changes that he made. But listen, the team came through for him, really, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Deimos, what would you give Arteta?
The same, but he has work to do. Do you know what I mean? The lineup, everything was what I would probably choose, or what most fans would probably expect. But something's up somewhere. We still need to work out how to smash these little teams. So we're in the right direction. We just need to push on in our next game, and hopefully we'll see some improvement, so we can get closer to that form that we started the season with. You know what I mean?
One thing I was impressed with was our set pieces, especially from corners, how we were mixing it up. I really I like that. Yeah, rather than just put it into the box, we now have it, Yeah.
I'll give Arteta, I think I'll give him an 8.
James,
I will go a bit higher. It's a good comment from John. I'll give him an 8. I feel he stuck to the guns. He didn't panic. Again, at halftime, I could have changed 7 players, and he stuck with them. Zinchenko being one of them, I was looking at maybe changing and trying something different with Tierney going down the left-hand side. But he stuck with it, and Zinchenko got one. We came through. And again, I think he's now Xhaka. If you remember first half of the season, Xhaka was ever present. He didn't come off. Even if we were struggling for a goal, he stayed on. And he's starting to change it a bit and giving Vieira a bit more game time. ESR's going to be coming back. And it is that now he's starting to use them a bit more. So let's see what this materializes into. But I'll give him 8 for today. And I think that's about it. I'm just happy with the win. I'm gonna watch it back because I just would see them. I was too busy jumping to even see the celebrations on some of them goals. But we've come through. Now we get to enjoy the rest of the weekend. That's the one good thing on the 12:30 game. If you win it, you can just sit back and enjoy the rest. If you lose it, it's a horrible.
It's a painful weekend, man.
Match of the day doesn't even exist when it's like that.
What's match of the day with a cup of Rosie Lee, slippers, feet crossed, legs crossed, all their ones just.
And just before we go, I'm going to run through some halftime scores. Brentford are drawing with Palace 0-0. Is about to go into halftime. Brentford drawing 0-0. The one everyone wants to know: City are beating Forest 1-0. But you'll see Chelsea are getting beat by Southampton. That's my coupon bust. I'm fuming. I had Chelsea odds on to win that one. But so that's 2 of my slips gone. But it's a James Ward-Prowse. I think he's in my dream team, so that's a bittersweet for me. But we'll see what happens. There's still another 45 in that game to go. But
and Arsenal.
For Arsenal, you've done what you had to do. 3 points on the board.
February
not looking as bad as it was. We keep moving. But guys, thank you for jumping on. It's been a pleasure as always.
Everyone in the chat, man, please smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't done so already, man. Bless all the guys in the chats. Wicked today.
Love. Candace,
Take care, guys.
Appreciate all of you. Love.